Welcome back to the Pharaoh's Legion and the raising of a Taghmata Part 2. So we spoke about the fact that you start off with your Crusade detachment, which gives you your High Command, which is your Archmagos, your Command, which is your Magoses, and your troops, which are your Tech Priests. Now, the weird thing is, in our army, they're all basically characters that kind of help us do other things rather than having your Praetor, who is just killy, and your individual kind of consoles, and then having actual troop choices like tactical Marines, for example. We don't get that. We basically get character, and more characters. And these guys they affect the troops that they are placed with more than anything, and some of them unlock different things. So we spoke about the fact that your High Command unlocks an Apex detachment, and your Magoses or Command they unlock your Auxiliary detachment, and then you have your Tech Priest, obviously, which are your troops, which don't unlock anything necessarily always, but they're basically support your units and possibly change what they do. So the first thing to note is that the special rule officer of the line. So when you speak about line, you're normally talking about troops and scoring troops. So officer of the line opens up, and this is what each of your command Magoses have. They have officer of the line, and normally it is the number of how many auxiliary detachments they open up. So officer of the line 2 means you can bring 2 auxiliary detachments for each Magos you take. So 3 Magoses are actually 6 auxiliary detachments. So you can take whatever you want. It's also worth noting the little star here. Hopefully I have put up a picture if I had time. The little star around the options. This little star means you get some extra benefits, but the important one in this case when we're talking about detachments is logistical benefit. There's a logistical something it's called, I can't really remember. I'm sure it's called logistical benefit, which basically means that star can give you 1 unit from any detachment. So if you looked at the on heavy assault, you get 2 units in. So if you had this star, you could take 1 of those units and just attach it to that character as such. So that they give you that rather than and you also still get your auxiliary detachments as well. So they give you auxiliary detachments, but you can also make it so you can take a unit from a detachment and use that as well. So that's great. So if you just want to take a single, and it kind of, I suppose it works best with things like Thanatars because they come in singles anyway. But or if you don't want to waste a whole detachment, say an armor detachment, there are 4 options in it. You don't want to waste 4 options. You just want to take 1, so you can use this as well. And I think this is if you want to take lots of different types of unit. If it's not covered by the detachments, which normally the detachments are. So, for example, our support detachments are our old troops, as I said before. So there are tech priests, tech thralls in there. There are thalax, and there are castellax. So there's no reason not to take a support choice. Your high techno arcana now, and the fact that you're a mechanicum, you get mechanicum gives you 2 extra auxiliary detachments which you can take. So one is basically a lot of support units, and that means you can take basically our old troops again. And what was the other one? And the other one I cannot quite remember, but here it is. So they're not super exciting, which is probably why I've forgotten the second one. And I know the first one is just so you can, make sure if you want to just have loads of thalax, you can. Or if you want loads of textiles, you can. I think it's just because the legions have stuff. Some of the main core rules you need to know about. So we're looking at troops. So and scoring, I suppose. So one of the things that might inform you when you're creating your list, apart from obviously wanting the units that are pretty, like I'll always want a Thanatar in there. Whether or not it's the best unit, we'll have to have a closer look at later, but they're just so pretty. It's just an awesome looking model. Probably why they have it on the front of our army book now, because it's so nice. So, core rules. You need to capture objectives. So there is a special rule called line. So line 2 seems to be one that I've seen a lot. And that is what a tactical, Legion tactical squad has. They have line 2. So any unit in all the armies can capture an objective unless it says it cannot. So assume everyone can capture objectives unless it's something like the model type. So let's say on an automata, which we have lots. So let's say a Castellax, for example. Castellax won't be able to capture an objective because it's an automata. But in the rule it says it cannot capture an objectives because it's an automata. So that's the automata rule. But you just assume everything can unless you read, make sure their keywords and everything allow them to capture objectives. Generally, like I said, it can unless it says it can't. So go back to tactical troops, for example, tactical Legion troops. They have line 2. So they can capture an objective for 1 point, because it's a 1 point objective, let's say. Line 2 means you get 2 extra points. So when a tactical squad captures an objective, they will get 3 points. So that makes them really good. They only have to be on an objective for a second. My Castellax go over and kill them and take the objective. I can't even hold that objective. So I might be a bit more killy, depending on which kind of Castellax I'm using, but I'm not able to actually hold the objective. So how do we get around this? Well, you have a couple of ways. One of them is that our tech priests have a few cool key rules. One, Master of Machines means they can join all of our units, including the automata, which normal units cannot do. So normal infantry units can't join machines. That's not how they roll. Our guys, of course they can. Tech priests, what do you expect? So our tech priests, our Magos' command, and our high techno arcana can all join machine units. Of course they can. By machines I mean automata. So we have, or our tech priests have, a rule called comptroller. So comptroller is basically our use of line, but slightly different wording. So it says if you're holding an objective, you can have an extra 2 points to that objective if it says comptroller 2, for example. When we get on an objective and we've got a Castellax, do we get +2? No, it says +2 if you can hold the objective. We can't hold the objective, so you can't get plus to nothing. It doesn't work. If we were holding objectives, let's say you're on there with some Thalax, you're on an objective, they can hold objectives. So if you're on the objective, you get +2 with comptroller if it says comptroller 2. So that is great. So then we can get back. So that's us giving line to our units. The second kind of core rule that a lot of units have is Vanguard. So Vanguard is, say, Vanguard 3, for example, and I'd say most of them are 3 to combat the line 2 rule, which becomes 3 points. The Vanguard rule is basically if you kill someone off an objective, then you get 3 points. So you have objective holders who carry line, objective destroyers or killers, which are Vanguard. So they get points for killing a unit off. So think about more like Terminators, and for us, our people who take up our Terminator slot are things like our Ursarex. You go in there, you kill everybody off the objective. They're quite fast, so they can move off and then go kill someone else, which is really good. Unlike Terminators, who have to slowly slog about, or you need to get them a transport, but who cares about legions? So we also have Myrmidons. Obviously, they're Vanguard. They're not really troop. They're not the kind of units that hold objectives. They go in and kill everybody. Now, the good thing about Myrmidons is if you stick a tech priest in there, then you can totally hold an objective. The only reason you may not be able to hold an objective is if you have the support rule. Now, support normally comes with a number again, so it should say support 0, support 1, support 2, generally support 1, because support is a restriction more, it's not really a bonus. So if you hold an objective and you've got support 1, that means you can only ever score one point for that objective. So it's not a modifier of some sort, it's just telling you you can only score 1 point. So units that have support, and they're normally, killer units, melter gun squads or something, they'll just have support 1. Another rule, it's called that, and our tech trials have it. We don't care about them, they're just, meat shields as such. So they have a rule, and in the brackets, whatever number that is, so that affects the score that you can get for it. So if you think, I'm going to kill them off an objective, and you're like, I'm going to get 3 points, you're not, because they're going to modify how many points you can get from that, which is really good. So tech trials, actually, with a comptroller, holding an objective, sitting on an objective, trying not to die. They don't normally care about being shot because they've got quite a high cool rate, which is one of the types of leadership. I think it's something crazy like 12. So anyway, once again, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was useful, and thank you for the comments as well. That, for example, this video and the next one is informed by your comments and questions. And obviously, as such a small channel at the moment, and obviously a bit more hobby, I can listen to you because there aren't many of you. Hopefully that will grow, but comment, because I will make a difference. I will listen to you, and I will add in any questions you may have, and because again, like I said, it's about community, so I want you to like, subscribe, and obviously comment, because it means we can work together, help each other out, and destroy the enemies of the Omnissiah. Imperium. Well, anyway, thanks a lot. I'll see you again.